We'll have you back on Bros Radio this time around to talk about sports. Yes, as we count down to the African Cup of Nations 2021 that will be kicking off there in Cameroon by January. We'll continue to monitor the situation of the 24 teams that will be locking it up in that competition. Yes, and right now we want to look at the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Remember, there has been a lot of kind of not big issue. Somehow for some people it is a big issue, but for some it is not a big issue. I'm sure for the fans it's a big issue. Yes, talking about the coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. If you remember, sometime a few weeks back, the former manager Genetro was fired as the manager of that team. We had the replacement of Austin Eguavoen as the interim manager. And just yesterday, someone asked me a question that I want to answer quickly right now. He asked me this, just listen to the question.
Super Eagles, waiting they happen, waiting they share, we want know.
All right, that was the question the person asked me a few minutes ago, and rightly I want to answer the question. All right, yesterday, Nigerian Football Federation boss Amaju Pinnick says the federation held talks with Roma manager Jose Mourinho in its search for a new coach for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. All right, Pinnick in media parley with sports journalists here in Lagos yesterday said the Eagles will get a new coach within the next week or so, which means that the interim coach of the team, Austin Eguavoen, might not take the squad to the 2021 African Cup of Nations, which begins by January 9, 2022 in Cameroon. Actually, Amaju Pinnick, the NFF boss, he mentioned certain criteria that they are looking at in search for the new manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. So many things he mentioned, and quickly I want to let you know some of the criteria Amaju Pinnick mentioned. He said the emphasis is on the new coach is discipline, that they are looking at his antecedents on discipline. He also said that they will be looking at how hungry he is to win trophies, because if they are hungry, it supersedes so many things, and if he wants to win, he will instill discipline. He also says that coaches that are hungry and ready to take Nigeria as a home, and they are willing to face the challenge from the over 200 million Nigerians. He also added that if the coach will give the Nations Cup, definitely they will draft him in immediately. Talking about coaches who are hungry to deliver, who are hungry to win trophies, he cited an example. He said that he spoke with one of the coaches on Tuesday, and looking at the coach mentioned so many things about Super Eagles players that it was obvious he was already scouting our players and was telling him things that he didn't even know about the players. That he was quite impressed and told, when the coach told him the strength of each player, and it kind of took him off guard, looking at the analysis the coach was giving him, and so many things that it caught his attention. And so he used it as a case study to explain to us what he means by coaches who are hungry to win trophies. So looking at the experience he had on Tuesday with that coach, he didn't mention his name actually. It was obvious this man is hungry for to win trophies. So he is saying that one of the criteria is that the coach must be able to instill discipline into the team and must be hungry to deliver, and especially to win trophies. And I'm asking this moment, can we get a coach who can deliver, who can possibly win the AFCON for us? Is that really possible? Because he said we are not going to experiment, and if the coach can promise to win the Nations Cup for us, no problem. But is it possible? Is it really possible to get a coach who can win the AFCON for us at this moment? I don't know. Let me know. Drop your comments on the comment section there. Remember to like the show. Remember to share as well. Remember also, to click the subscription button if you're watching me live on Facebook or YouTube at the moment. Some other things he mentioned. He also said that coaches who the players cannot be bigger than and believe in themselves is also a criteria they are looking at for coaches who are bigger than the players, who the players are not bigger than. That is another big one. Like coaches who the players cannot be bigger than. I'm just thinking of certain coaches who the players, well, anything is possible. That is the criteria the NFF boss is saying, the Amaju Pinnick. He said the coach is one who the players cannot be bigger than. and that is why he mentioned discipline into the team. I've mentioned some of the criteria the NFF president said yesterday during that meeting with sports journalists. But now, one other question that comes to mind is, when are we going to see this? If you listen to me earlier, he said in the next coming weeks we expect to see. But before then, he says he's going to meet with his executive committee, and now after that they will come out, within the week or within next week, so as to say this is the name, because the technical committee has to bring their presentation to the executive committee. It is only then that they can make a decision. So as it stands now, it is going to be a seamless movement to the current team headed by Austin Eguavoh. So just like he said, anything is possible. We expect to see something happen, maybe this week or next week. But if it never happens, that means Austin Eguavoh is taking us to the African Cup of Nations come January. Now, away from that, let's talk about some of the coaches, he mentioned. So one of the names he actually mentioned that he talked to was Maldin Krastajic. But unfortunately, according to the NFF president, he said after talking to him a few weeks later, it was obvious he got a job with a top club in Israel, and probably that club might be Maccabi Tel Aviv. Maccabi Tel Aviv, I remember that was Enyama. Enyama, I think he played for Maccabi Tel Aviv, if I can remember vividly, in Israel. A top club in Israel there. So unfortunately, Maldin Krastajic has signed for a top club in Israel, which happens to be Maccabi Tel Aviv. So he is out of the question as it stands now. Remember too that the NFF boss, he confirmed that he spoke with Jose Mourinho. Yes, he spoke with Jose Mourinho in regards to suggestions he has in regards to who could replace Gennett Rohr as a permanent coach for the Super Eagles of Nigeria. I've mentioned one. He mentioned three coaches were in question, but I think we were able to get hold to two. I've mentioned one. The second one, I think that is the talking point for so many persons. For those of you who are, very much interested in the affairs of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, you must have heard that name, and that is Jose Peseiro. So many persons know that name. If you remember, he has been making rounds in media, I think since last week or so, or earlier this week. That name has been flying around, as to he might be the possible person to replace Gennett Rohr as the manager of the Super Eagles of Nigeria on a permanent basis. All right. So looking at Jose Peseiro, let's look at his portfolio. Like I said before, he is a strong contender for the Eagles job, having recently resigned from his role as head coach of Venezuela. For so many persons, looking at the fact that he just resigned from his role as the coach of Venezuela, they felt maybe he might be the one to replace Gennett Rohr. I don't know. All these are speculations actually, but anything is still possible. Remember, Peseiro, he's 61 years of age. He was an assistant manager at Real Madrid in 2003-2004 season. In terms of experience, he has lots of experience. Remember, he managed clubs, Portuguese clubs like Sporting Lisbon. He managed Praha. Talking about Sporting Lisbon, he took them to 2005 UEFA Cup final, where they lost 3-1 to CSK Moscow, before he now moved to FC Porto in 2016. He was also in charge of Saudi Arabian national team in his 29 years managerial career. He has already won 2 trophies, one in Portugal, that is the Portuguese League Cup with Braga in 2012-2013 season, and then the Egyptian Premier League with Al Ahly in 2015-2016 season. And so, looking at him, so many persons have been saying, I've seen a lot of reactions, looking at his portfolio. For me, not a bad option, but my question is, will the NFF and other bodies involved, other stakeholders, give him that enabling environment to work? That is one thing. They just Gennett Rohr, you've heard about salary issues and stuff like that, and so my question is, if this man is coming in, the same issue we had with Gennett Rohr, are we still going to have that same issue come up again? I've seen people say maybe because Gennett Rohr is being old, that is why we began to see poor performances and stuff like that. We were able to get results, but wasn't convincing. We struggled to get those results. So many persons are saying, yes, if he's being old, maybe that is part of, I don't know, we are just saying. But the point is, if we are bringing in a new manager, just like Jose Peseiro, are we going to give him that environment, both in terms of the structure, both in terms of payment and things like that, to function properly? That is the question I'm asking. But then remember, the NFF president, he refused to mention the coach who will manage Eagles at AFCON. But like I said before, he hinted the new coach will hit the ground running immediately he is appointed. So we'll wait to see from now till next week to see whatever happens. And trust me, whatever comes out of there, I'll be giving you update with regards to that. But if nothing happens, it is obvious Austin Egovo will be taking us to AFCON 2021 there in Cameroon. And so for some persons too, I've seen reactions from people, trying to say, why not allow Austin Egovo, take us to AFCON? But after that, we can now talk about getting another manager, either foreign or local. First of all, not just about replacing Austin Egovo as who is the interim manager presently. Some persons are of the opinion, why not bring in a local coach? I've seen the likes of Emmanuel Pinnick suffice. I've also seen that of Sunday Olise and even Austin Egovo too. I've seen names like these, options. People are saying, why not give the local coaches, the ex-internationals, the opportunity to manage the Super Eagles of Nigeria? First of all, let me go back to what Amaju Pinnick said yesterday. He said that they know what Austin Egovo can do, but they also want someone who can do it better. I want to quote him again. We know Egovo. We know what Egovo can do, but we also want someone who can do it better. If we are unable to sign him soon, then we'll work with the current team. But I am not going to tell you that we have signed him today. All right. So that is just the situation on ground. So tell me what you think. Do you think the Super Eagles or the NFF bringing in a new foreign manager is the right thing, or do you think they should allow Austin Egovo, take us to AFCON? Or do you think even if they are bringing in a new manager to take us to AFCON, then it should be a local coach, one of our home-based coach here? Let me know what you think. Drop your comments in the comment section. Remember to subscribe. Remember to like the show as well. Before I quit talking about AFCON, one other issue that has caused a lot of controversies currently is that of the European clubs, who are reluctant to release most of the African players for the competition come January. So many teams are affected. The likes of Liverpool, Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, Joe Matip, one other name. So many of them there. If you go to Chelsea, the same thing. Edward Mendy, Hakim Ziyech, who is may or may not, because I know he's having some issues with his national team. Maybe before then they might resolve that issue. All right. So many big names in Europe, who will be missing their players. You go to Man City, Riyad Mahrez definitely will be missing. So many clubs, and if you go, for example, if you go to Italy, the likes of Napoli, you talk about Victor Osimhen, who plays for Nigeria. You talk about which other player, Kuli Koulibaly. You talk about Andy Onas. So many other players, But the talking point this moment is Napoli, who I think at least 5 of their players will be missing in action, including Victor Osimhen. So the club, according to report, shows that they are preparing to take legal action against countries who hand call-up letters to their players ahead of the 2021 African Cup of Nations in Cameroon by next year. According to the club's lawyer, Mattia Grassini, Napoli will take legal action to protect their players, especially with the recent spike in COVID-19 cases across the world and in Cameroon, where only 5% of the population has been vaccinated, will be used as one of the excuses. All right, yeah. I understand how Napoli feels with regards to most of their players, especially protecting them, but then they also need to be considerate of the African side. To remember, the African Cup of Nations has been moved twice. It has been moved twice, and moving it the third time, I think, is a very big issue there. Yes, I understand the health issues involved, but I think we can also take preventive measures. We can step up our games. to make sure the right thing is being done. So I'm suggesting, for me, just like the NFF, the Nigerian Football Federation, are trying to do, maybe the best thing to do is for Napoli and some of these national teams, African national teams, who their players are part of. Understand? Let them sit on a round table and discuss the way forward. Taking legal actions, is that the way forward? Is that how to solve problem? I doubt. For now, it hasn't gotten to taking legal actions until when you sit with these national teams and discuss. Then if nothing happens, then you can talk about taking legal actions to protect your players. I understand that the fact that when most of these players play for the national team, they pick up injuries, or maybe at the end of the day test positive for COVID-19, they return to their clubs, who happen to bear the cost of all of these. That I understand. But I also believe, in as much as you think about your players, you also think about the African tournament as well. Let's sit together, discuss, and know the way forward. I like the move the Nigerian Football Federation are trying to take. Reportedly, actually, we are yet to see that materialize. Trying to go there, meet the Napoli side, the club body, discuss issues. What's the way forward with Victor Osimhen? Even though the player that was on Tuesday, he came out to say he will be fit for the AFCON. But I also believe the club they have the finances, the club doctors too have the finances. So sit on the round table and discuss on the way forward. I think that is much I have for you this moment. Whatever comes up, we'll be looking at some of the teams too as we count down to AFCON. 17 days to go actually. I think less than 3. Is it 3? Yeah, less than a month or so to go. Yeah, less than a month to go. So whatever happens with some other teams, because some of the teams are already releasing their provisional team squad for the competition. I'll be giving you updates with regards to that. If you follow us on a daily basis, especially in the morning, you notice we drop updates with regards to that. So whatever comes out, I'll be giving you updates, wherever it is coming from. Thank you very much for watching Brussels Radio, your #1 business radio. Remember to comment, remember to like, remember to click the subscription button as well. Have a lovely day.